Yeah, it's your lifestyle specialist, Kenny Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, and I want to welcome you to episode 3. You Can't Break My Soul. Right here with the TKBS Nation Conversations. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking all the rules when it comes to what's going on in pop culture. They go that way, we going that way. Yeah, so I invited a bunch of my TKBS Nation members to join the conversation so that we can have real one-on-ones, or in this case, a foursome. I meant that, but I didn't mean it that way. There's 4 of us, and I want to introduce you to my dream team right now. Ladies and gentlemen, start putting your hands together for Misha Pemberton. Misha!
Kenny!
Yeah, you got the wet look, baby. That's so 80s of you. You getting ready for my party or something? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I am ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep putting your hands together as I welcome some more of the dream team to the table. Dominique Nashay, are you there, Dom?
For sure. Hey, y'all.
Hey, beautiful. Okay, pink lip out here in these streets. Yeah. Can't be the only male to join the conversation. This is a very important conversation. You can't break my soul. We're going to dive all the way into it. But first, welcome Michael Angelo. Michael Angelo, are you there?
And I'm here and all the way live.
Yeah, and all the way live with so much juice. It's time to get loose. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I like to start these conversations off with a title. Today's title is You Can't Break My Soul. And there's some areas I want to cover. But first, I'm going to give you a little context on what I'm thinking and how I feel and how I got to this overarching conversation that I think is important for the nation. I think they try to break our spirits a lot of the time. I think they do things systemically to put us in these boxes where we often find ourselves clawing and fighting to get out, or thinking we have to claw and fight each other to get out. And one of the main things that I think, was kind of bothering me and honestly started me on this journey to this title in this conversation is what's going on politically, right? I'm seeing a lot of things in the media. We got a big statewide election coming up here in Atlanta. We got another big presidential election coming up in 2 years. And I think we're more woke and adapt to the voting process and what we need to do to put people we like in office. But the discouraging thing, and how I don't want them to break our souls with this messaging, these tactics, this continuum of like racial banter and classist banter. But yeah, I want to start in the politics thing. I know you guys are seeing these commercials with all these attacks on people. You got Ron DeSantis and Gregory Abbott, Ted Cruz, the one who left his state when it was flooding. Like, you got these people, and they're really running on the Donald Dump narrative. How do y'all feel about what's going on in that space, and how is it making you feel? And we're gonna start with Dom.
For me, I think it's about knowing who you are, right? We can't take everything. And it's like back when you was in school and people tell you everything or say stuff about you. Mm-hmm. Your mom used to tell you, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Amen.
If it don't apply, let it fly. So some of the stuff you gotta let fly. Some of the stuff we gotta be strategic about how we attack. History repeat itself, and that's the process we in. If you educate yourself on what happened, you gonna see it reoccurring, and it's time to be prepared for the reoccurrence.
I think it's a little more repetitive to the point where we didn't have social media growing up. So what our mama and them would tell us would resonate more because that was one of the only voices you heard. Now you got 200,000 voices, but by the time you wake up and leave the house, not even all day long, and whoever getting a hold of it for their personal agenda and their personal, reward, but goddamn, it's just a lot of people. So, Michelangelo, what you think, champ?
Yeah, well, my whole take on it is we got to have a basic knowledge of who we are and what we represent.
Right.
Because, like you said, it's like 200,000 voices, right? But the main key with that is knowing in our community that all those voices need to be speaking the same language.
Right.
That's going to help cut through all this rhetoric, Republican, Donald Dump, all this other stuff, Herschel Walker.
Yeah, that's just awareness.
Loud them up.
Mike, but the thing about what you're saying is, bro, it's dead on, first of all. It's the truth. But at the same time, it's like, Herschel Walker, great example. This man ignorant. He not even smart. He ignorant. He had a knife to his woman's throat, his former ex-wife's throat. He threatened to have a shootout with the police. You feel what I'm saying? And Misha, I want your opinion on this because I just feel like you in Texas. In Texas, they I don't know. They want to be their own planet.
Well, Kenny, I'll say if we can't even keep our electricity on for our state, then no, we can't succeed, concede, no seed at all. Our governor is sending immigrants to DC in front of Vice President Harris's house.
Yeah.
Like,
unbelievable.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that disrespect, man. That's that disrespect we're talking about. Just give them a license to be foolish.
That's what the whole Break My Soul episode is about. It's like, you can do whatever you want, but I can't. You can send migrants to my front door, but I'm supposed to show grace when I speak about you. No, you ignorant motherfuckers. I'm gonna let you fry. I'm gonna let you have it, because at the end of the day, it's like, Tiffany sent me this thing about demagogues. I'm gonna have her load this video because I want to share the words, the makeup of these demagogues. Like, they literally, it's a blueprint. It is a complete blueprint. And that's what I'm saying about Cruz and Abbott and DeSantis. They saw the power that Donald Trump had and literally are doubling down on it. Now they trying to, of course, the insurrection was wrong and all the things they, kind of portray to keep it balanced until they get in office. But no, they want the demagogue status. They want the dictator status. They want people, you understand me, to be in fear, uneducated. They want their following to be uneducated. Why do you think Donald dumbs himself down so much? Right? He dumbs himself down so much because most people ain't the smartest and don't have the most education. But let me play. You got the demagogue thing ready? Let me play this for y'all. Y'all got to hear this.
There is an ancient and proven system that has been used many times before to control the masses. History teaches the demagogue how to manipulate weak-minded people. First, you must establish an enemy. Having an enemy is a powerful device to distract people from their own current troubles and look for someone else to blame. Second, you must tell simple stories with no regard for the truth, so they understand that you, and only you, can solve their problems. Third, you must attack democratic institutions, the Congress, but particularly the press. You must also make them an enemy of the people, so your followers will turn against them for criticizing you. And fourth, you must create a cult of personality, where you live above the law and bring benefit to those who support you. As a reward for their loyalty, you must root out all those who are not loyal and give power to family members and others who are willing to sacrifice their own honor in support of you. With these four things accomplished, the gullible will blindly follow the big lie and lose all humanity. We've seen this happen before. We can't let it happen again.
Is that not like? Does that not?
That's the whole recipe. That's the whole recipe.
Yeah, that's it right there. That is it right there.
It's always been said that education makes you dangerous. So of course I'm gonna go after the people that's not going to educate themselves. I'll tell you this: it sounds good. I sound like you. I look like you. You gonna rock with me? Yeah. And they're more the majority, right?
No, listen.
Ignorant people is probably more the majority.
Yeah, the uneducated. I mean, I want to go back to the 60s when, Martin Luther King and the Southern Leadership Conference and all the marches and all the things they were doing. They referred to blacks, Appalachian whites, Hispanic. They were all one group lumped up thing. Appalachian whites is the ones that they're going after. Appalachian whites was considered the not so smart, the uneducated, live in the mountains, don't have, in these rural areas, don't have access. But the thing about it all is they want you to establish an enemy. They want us to beef. They want us to be separate. They want to put us in these boxes and keep us labeled and move us around the board how they see fit. Please remember that. They also want to tell simple stories, aka lies. They want to tell you things that just ain't true. And they have the power of social media and the news to trick the news to amplify and evangelize. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Then they said, they want to create a cult. Ignorant people are going to follow. This is why I always go on preachers. They
bamboozle you.
Listen, you saw the Brooklyn dude. Do you see the Brooklyn preacher, how he handled the woman? He went and grabbed her by the back of her neck. And then mind you, she could have been wrong. But my thing is there are people like pastors, priests that we grew up thinking were like certain level of president of the United States. That's what they do though. They want us, right, to constantly be in this, I need to be down with this to get this, or I got to associate myself with this to get this. And I was just speaking with I was speaking at Jalen Rose Leadership Academy on last week. And today I spoke to the Fulton County students about this exact same thing. You can't let people sway your thoughts to the point that you're not thinking like yourself. You know when you do something that's uncomfortable, that you need to, you know what I'm saying, adjust yourself and breathe. Don't just act. Yeah. You see something on Instagram, you feel like, I saw my brother Shaka Zulu going through hell right now, got in a horrible situation. And then they went to the internet with it. I could not immediately just go to the internet and do what everybody else does, because I'm thinking like, hold up. They adding the police, they adding the whoever's, and they going through all these motions. And I know my voice is big. And so I'm not just gonna jump out there. So I hit him. You good? What's going on? He expressed his frustration. What's going on? Cool. Now other things are coming out, but I wasn't quick to jump because I gotta be more thoughtful. I understand my power. If I jump, 10,000 more people gonna jump. 10,000 could already jump. But if I jump, I know I gotta be responsible for people that follow me and look to me for guidance and for information. But I want to transition in, because I'm speaking about Shaka and getting into the music thing of it, but there's a lot of things in the music world that are breaking our spirit and our soul. But Don, what were you about to say?
So when you talked about the demigods, that goes back to, if we ever heard the Willie Lynch letters.
Absolutely.
Some say it's fictional, some people say it's real. But in the whole segregation in that, like let us separate you, right? We're gonna put you in your own area, so one feel like they're better than the other, or somebody feels like this. Then you have the person who's in control. It's all about the separation. That's where it happens. If we take it to the hood, the blocks. You know, yo, we gonna have you think you from 18th Street, we gonna have you think you from West Side, you from East Side, but that's systematic, and you gotta recognize that, right? So then you go, then you went into talking about how you had to take a step back and look at the facts first before you reacted, and that's what we really gotta do. We gotta stop letting these leaders be the ones looking at the complex forms and only giving us the simple things. We have to go dig in to see what's the complex things. I was toward simple forms come from complex things, so you have to look into what's the rest of the story. There's one statement, isn't it? The apple was red, but where did the red apple come from? How did it grow? You know, it's bigger than what's just put in front of you, and we got to stop just eating the one thing that's put in front of us.
Wow. Round of applause.
Yeah.
I'm hollering.
That's good, Dom. That's good.
Hold on, Mish, before you come in. So, Dom, excellent. Love that. And I just want to set the tone for the music portion of the conversation, because you hit on a few key facts about music and how we are constantly being, you know, our souls are breaking daily. I mean, PNB Rock just got killed. You know, all these people are dying. You have all of this black on black crime. You won't break my soul. You know? And I think a testament to our will. I mean, let's go back to trap music. Who don't love, you know, a good Jesus song? You know what I'm saying? Like, who don't? I'm in my cool whip, East Side Jello. How about that pretty motherfucker?
That nigga crazy, girl. Don't say nothing to him.
We come from that. We see it. And a lot of it's motivational. But it's for us to understand, not them, but what we do wrong is that we live that shit. We don't just tell the stories. We just don't paint the pictures creatively through music and word and song. We don't do that. You won't break my soul. No, we can tell the story. And even with Tip, he one of the founders of trap music. He created the Trap Museum. Yes, to tell the story. Because guess what? He's not with that bullshit no more. He's not feeling none of that energy. He don't even know what he said to the public, I can't even talk about the trap no more because I don't know what that's like. But that's growth. And that's the beauty of us. The beauty of us is that we continuously, no matter what systemic situation they put us in, no matter what chains they put us in, they don't take our minds. How many people you know go to jail come out right? I know a lot. And I know a lot that come out right after 30, 40, 20 years. Big clips. But they still saying that makes you a superhero. If you're going in a box for all that time, you come back more spiritually sound, more together. You done made amends with your family. You done done things for the people behind the wall with you. You are blessed. You have found your purpose. Despair for sure. Unfortunate for sure. Do we want to be in that? Absolutely not. But you have found your thing. And I think that's why I want to take it into the music thing, because I think so many of us, you know, I talk to these kids, all they want to do is musicians and producers. I'm like, for what? You want to die? You want to get all this money, get this jewelry, can't go eat with your family because somebody want to rob you.
Yeah.
A lot of them not even built for the life. A lot of us aren't built for that life, right? But again, I think I said to you, you got to see what you want to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've seen me lately, I feel like I'm kind of stepping into this lane. And some of that I always contribute to you, of being able to see that example. And that's what they're following, especially as children.
Right.
You have to be careful about what you feed the mind, what you feed the airwaves, so that when they get older, they're making decisions about what they put before them, because all they put before them right now are rappers that are talking about this trap.
Yeah, no, but Dom, you said it correctly. Like, even like our young women, our queens, our future, the humans that will bring life, they're desensitized on another planet, and it's breaking my soul seeing it. Like, I'm not even out here on the track. We had an amazing conversation with some Nation members last episode, and it breaks my fucking heart for a young, beautiful woman to feel like she just can't be beautiful, that has this style and affection. She don't feel like she can just have style and put that shit together and come outside because she got to go get face this and ass this. It breaks my soul.
Yeah, my daughter's 16. Our daughter's 16 years old. They just had a homecoming over the weekend at her friend's high school, Marietta High School.
Do I need to get this?
Nah, not at all. One thing I can't say is, I was impressed with the fact that, he had his pants pulled up. You know what I'm saying? And because the part that hurts me is, as a young woman, for her, is what she got to choose from. It's ridiculous out here. At this point, I'm like, I have to show her and tell her, my wife got to show and tell her that these things may be the norm, but this is not acceptable. Yeah, this is not acceptable. The standard, you have to have a standard, and so we're seeing her live what we've been preaching to. Now you're starting to see that it's coming through now. She did a great choice of picking the person that she went to the homecoming with. He was a very respectable young man. He had him and his friends. All of them had slacks on, jackets on, and they fit.
Right.
Everything was fitting. And, and I appreciate that. I appreciated that. And I'm seeing how the standards is where we need to keep our stronghold. Let these little young girls know you got to have a standard for yourself and for the person you choosing to be around.
Yeah, and I want to say this to all black men, and I'm giving you your props, Mike. At the end of the day, man, fathers are so important, man. My barber and I, Ron, we talk about our kids so much. You know what I mean? And then, like, even his daughter, you know what I mean? Like, we had, and I got nieces and godchildren that are women, and it's just such a delicate situation. It's like, on one hand, you don't want to deprive them of the current movements and moments, right? Because their era is different from ours. So our experience is different. This is something they grew up in. This came about in our generation. They grew up in it. So it's what they know. I had a girl come to me today from Fulton County Public School here in Georgia, and she was like, how do I get more popular on Instagram? I got this, amazing animation, and I want to share the animation, but I got to be popular. I said, no, you don't. I said, let me see your work. She had the most amazing little animation characters, and I'm like, well, what's the stories you want to tell? She's like, well, I like this, that, and the third. I want to talk about things like this. I said, well, create it. I said, you ever heard of Issa Rae? She said, no. I said, well, Issa Rae started on YouTube. She had an idea. She wrote it. She produced it, and she put it up. And I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't that great. The initial stuff on YouTube wasn't that great. But the outcome is insecure. And the outcome is all the amazing things she's doing now, because she got the opportunity to not only put her ideas into motion and see them on something other than her notepad or computer. She now doubled down on, I could do it. And I want the little girl to know, like, you could do it. It ain't got nothing to do with what's going on around you, how many followers people had, this, that, and the third. It's about what you want to do. If you create, all it takes is one. I remember Ludacris just talking about Karma's World. It was an idea for a long time, for a long time, right? Yeah. And it was timing though too. And this is what I was telling the young lady, it's timing. You can't just expect to be, I started out as something totally different from what I became. And I went through my process, and I do it every time I speak, because I think it's so vital, to break stereotypes and scenarios that, we're given. We're given these scenarios like, one of the questions today on the panel was like, how do we get to the money? I said, why you worried about the money? You ain't talking about your skill set, or how you gonna get the money? You know what I'm saying? So what's the idea?
That's why you get to the money. The service.
Tell me the idea, I can tell you how to make some money. And I gave him a scenario. But I guess all is to say, y'all, it's like back in the day, there was certain levels to respect, or what's the words I'm looking for? It was
standards, having standards.
Standards. Where the motherfucking standards? Like I was telling the kids today on the panel, you gotta respect your teacher because your teacher know Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns give you a job out of high school.
Yeah.
So you being ignorant, talking crazy to your counselor, but your counselor went to school with T.I. and he could get.
It's a plug for real, and you don't even know it.
But you asking how to get to the money.
Y'all said something that was important about fathers, right? So y'all probably don't know. I was raised by mine all my life.
Oh.
You know, he was able to put me to school. My dad never went to college. Barely probably made it out of high school.
Yeah.
Worked for the city. But it's that, and it's not necessarily father, but that male community, because that's needed. That standard. And you need to have some things implemented and you put into you early in life. Because like for me, I dated some jokers, but then I got to a certain age, like my father had this standard.
Right.
The other men in my life set this standard. Bro, if you don't meet that, we can't do this.
Yeah.
That's it. We can't go no further.
If you don't meet these standards, we can't do this, nigga.
Sometimes I go back to that with my own work. I go back like, remember when I told you I'll move forward with this if you can meet this or go above. So when he has moments where I feel like it's not meeting, this was the initial agreement. You meet it or you go above.
Dom, you know, and I want to say this too, and this is specifically for Black women. The fathers are necessary. The reason I said Dom, the way she acts, presents herself with such confidence and strength. Not that you can't get that from your mama, but it's something about your daddy instilling that in you as well. There's a different zest. You know what I'm talking about? There's a different presentation. And that's why fathers, you know, and I want to give all the fathers listening a round of applause, man, because, you know, we have a lot of work to do. You know, our queens have been getting their due. They've been rightfully, you know, getting paid. All the things, you know what I'm saying, that men have gotten in abundance, you know, women are getting, and it's about time. But we can't lose our Black men, ladies. We can't put them to the back of the line, ladies. We cannot act like they not pillars of our household communities. You know what I'm saying?
The nucleus is vital. You know, it's been a norm to be a single parent, but, you know, we should normalize that. We need to make sure that we start making, you know, the nucleus, the mother and the father, the mom and the dad, because each role is specific and it's important. You know, having a dad that stepped up like he did, Dom, and took you and put his love on you to make you the woman that you are. Hey, that's to be commended, and we need to edify more men that way and help influence and encourage more men to be that way.
Yo, Mike, are you smoking that shit? I saw some smoke. You smoking?
It's to smell good, man. My wife got plug-ins and plug-outs. She got incense and out-sense.
Nah, but that's absolute fact. And Mish, how do you feel about that, love?
Well, I just wanted to say that, you know, in so many years that they wanted the woman to be, you know, the head, because they know that if we come together, the Black family can be so powerful together, having a mom and a dad. Message. But I want to give big ups to all the fathers out there that are doing their thing and raising strong children to have standards and to do, you know, teaching their kids the right things and how to live, because it's a tough world out here for these kids. Right. And it's very different from when, you know, we were raised.
Absolutely.
And so having your father in your life, like I had my dad joined the military.
Right.
So, and I appreciate my dad for doing that and giving me, you know, a different outlook on what life could look like for me.
Facts.
So, big ups.
And another thing I think we have to do, and I think to your point, Misha, back then it was more structure. Now, the entrepreneurial spirit, creative spirit is going crazy, you know, and it's going crazy in an amazing way for the people that are actually taking advantage of the time and actually putting something creative out and monetizing that creativeness. Your kids, y'all, are literal walking versions of you, right? So anything you've ever done, whether they let you know or not, they have in their repertoire. Now, if it ever comes out, it's based on circumstance. But I know, even like yesterday, big shout out to Layla James. Kyle Burns is my son's girlfriend. I took a picture of them and I posted it on my IG stories with them laying, he's in the hospital bed after a second brain surgery. She in bed with him. You know what I mean? And she's so thorough and just like, you know what I mean? But he's also so thorough in his choice and his selection. He looked for certain things in this young lady that reminded him of his mama. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Or the positive, relationship he's seen with his parents. And this is something we did on purpose.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Like, we don't want broken souls in our household. We don't want, you know what I'm saying, generational curses and we didn't want that shit. We know what dysfunction looks like. You understand me? Like but the point that I'm making, and the reason I want to give Layla and Kyle, because they're making a choice. Today, I was speaking on the panel, and they were talking about like, how do you protect your finances? I said, get a partner. If you don't know about your finance, get a partner. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got to be your significant other. It should be. I think I married somebody that graduated cum laude in finance. You see my life, and I have no respect for that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this to y'all, though, at the end of the day, like these are all decisions. When you have kids and this is a decision. And even if you can't be there every day, even if the relationship didn't work out, you don't have to stop telling them what you know. Coexisting with someone that you created this beautiful life with to make sure that they have the information, that, you know what I'm saying, that so they can succeed. It ain't got nothing to do with no money. I grew up, y'all saw the picture I posted today. I wanted to shout out little Kenny Burns Jr. From, I think that was a preschool picture.
Hanging from the monkey bars.
You seen him on the monkey bars, man. And I had to shout him out because although I show up for y'all all the time and I'm always positive and uplifting, you know how many times people come at my neck for no reason just because of the way I look, the way I dress? Same little kid on them monkey bars. Light skin, they was trying to torture me. You hear me? But I start whooping that ass. But that's not the point I'm trying to make to you, kid. But I'm just saying, at some point, you make hard decisions, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's about, honoring yourself. I say this to y'all all the time. We gotta be selfless. To have a great society, community, family, you gotta be selfless. You gotta know it's bigger than you. But you also can't lose yourself in being selfless.
You won't break my soul. But you said that, right? You gotta honor yourself, and in turn, honoring yourself, you honor your four people, right? Showing up as your best self makes the sacrifice. You heard me say, like, my dad probably barely made it out of high school, so I owe it to him to be everything I'm supposed to be. Yeah. Everything he poured into me, and to go get everything he didn't, right? Because that's one thing he did. He put me in front of resources. If he didn't have it, he put me in front of it. Yeah. So I came up with a community. But you honor yourself, and then naturally, even if your people that came before you don't like your choice, you honoring them. Yeah. You showing them, I got you. I may not do what you want me to do, but trust me, we gonna move forward.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of break my soul, this kid with autism, I think he had autism. He was slower, but he was fresh. And I was like, he couldn't even really.
So with Kenny, so we'll say he might be on a spectrum, not autism.
Oh, okay. The point I'm trying to make is that when the kid came up to me and he really couldn't get his words together, I just started talking to him. And ladies and gentlemen, when I started talking to him, he got more comfortable. And he started coming with it. And then I said, yeah, you put it on this morning, didn't you? He said, yeah, my mom ain't like my outfit. And I said, well, your mom might not have a sense of style. Not to diss his mama, but to also say, you got to believe in yourself, son. You can't, you understand what I'm saying? There's plenty of things that up until our generation right now that was so not in common with our parents and children. My mom, it was cool. I think that was the first parent, honestly, I ever met that related to my friends, but she wanted to be cool with us. So she did things, you know what I mean? But everybody else I know, like, they have a weird relationship with their parents, especially the generation before mine. Exactly. They got, the love, the flower children and the civil rights coming straight out of the race, segregation, they got a whole different perspective. My point is, we can't be putting our shit on these kids, telling them what is and what ain't. You know how much money these kids making versus what we did, or even the access they got. You should double down. If they're spirited about something, I don't care if they're wearing trash bag. I would never co-sign my kids wearing trash bag. But I remember time I told them they couldn't wear skinny jeans. You remember that, Ron? I told my kids, man, you can't wear no skinny jeans. I wear skinny leather pants almost every show. So we got to do better with that.
He's going to become a merchandiser or a designer, and that mama going to be right there like, that's my baby.
Yeah.
You got to do what you do sometimes, and the rest of the people will follow. Listen, you just got to show up. You got to show up, and they'll show up behind you. You won't break my soul. You always got a +1 when you walk with God, so.
Ooh. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Don, you're going to have a lot of clips from this episode. That thing right there. Ooh. But I adore, these moments, y'all, and the reason I wanted to come back with these kinds of conversations because they're so needed. And one of the last things I want to touch on, Lil Baby came out and said, why he don't got tattoos and why he doesn't do certain things because he's judged. Big shout out to Tip for denouncing the trap after being one of the founders, right? Big shout out to Jeezy, who's had kids, but now he's married and with kids and wants to show that side of who he is as a family man and even show himself that it's possible and in the entrepreneurial side and the things that these guys are doing. Those guys, man, give them a round of applause. Those guys.
That's what we need.
That's the example of not letting anyone break your soul. They could have been pigeonholed, to a certain form of music, a certain lifestyle, but they're breaking those barriers. I told today to the Fulton County Public School system that was there to listen. I was like, Tip's family was like the Huxtables before they got taken off VH1. You saw love, you saw, like ups and downs, you saw triumph. And that's what we here for, Black families.
Growing pains.
Listen, and that's I want to get to this last little piece of today's topic. They cannot break us. They cannot break us.
No, they can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, like they cannot break us. Even with, do you have the Poor Righteous Teacher clip? I want y'all to hear this little tidbit that Tiffany got. And it's so true when it comes to, what happened in music. And I wanted to parallel it and equate it to obviously other forms of entertainment and how they keep us, at bay. But go ahead.
It also speaks to the environment in which we are embedded as young Black males and females in this particular society. Hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. Right. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot let that point elude us. Right. These are the facts.
So the reason I want to play that is because I think that goes across the table, ladies and gentlemen. We look at music and I'm turning 50. Hip hop is turning 50. When it started, it was good times. It was the barbecue. It was girls. It was, and then the violence wave came, and the violence wave didn't come because it wasn't necessary. They were reporting stories in the hood because there was no social media. There was no news reporting the truth. If you listen to early NWA, that was cries for help. This was going on, and y'all need to know that coming out here. Straight out of Compton. You know what I'm saying? Getting into things y'all don't know nothing about, gang culture, all that thing. When you look at all the movies, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I do understand that there was a lot of violence and it would look like we were applauding and adoring, and we do. Because guess what? A lot of us ain't had no choice. But if we didn't have that, it wouldn't be no this. If we didn't have that, it wouldn't be no this. So I'm not gonna denounce that. That's why I applaud, Tip for the Trap Museum. Show them how. Show them all the despair, all the dysfunction and how you got here. And that's what I want to talk about for the last topic. For generations, we have invented society as far as I'm concerned. From products to, utensils, tools to, building America on our backs, with no pay, from taking inadequate education systems and breaking through because you think we not learning something, right? You think these books and all that because we not getting, no, we going outside and we gonna get the real lessons in life. And we gonna, we're gonna purvey. We're gonna, we're gonna break through and we're gonna be something regardless of this systemic situation you've put us in. And I want to applaud that, but I also want to speak to it because there's someone listening right now, much like myself, that did not know what he wanted to do. Did not know that there are options. Did not know if he didn't get an education that he could still flourish and succeed in life. And I want you guys to share some of your experience and what you think about that, because somebody needs to hear it right now.
First of all, pass the offering plate. That was an offering right there.
Yeah, preacher.
I didn't have all the odds stacked up against me because, like I said, my dad did what he had to do. I went to Catholic school, and so I went to college. College was the closest thing I've been to a public school. But I still came from a neighborhood, like y'all heard me earlier say, small blocks against small blocks that was warring against each other. And for me, I think it was just having that community wrapped around me. Like, community saved me. I can honestly say that. Going to dance, I played sports early just because of my dad, but then going to dance school, getting into acting, then learning that I like programming in high school. Right. Community saved me, and that's why I show up the way I do around some young people who want it, because I know who my target is, right? So it's about community. Like, how can you be involved? We all aren't like the same. We don't all have the same way in community, right? You got to figure out your position. Right. For me, when it comes to like young women, I'm the advocate. But in others, like street violence, I'm about to support it. I'm not. That's not my lane. Know where you are, but be a part of community. Absolutely. And that's what, like, what got me through.
Round of applause for my baby.
Listen, man. Like I said again, man. Just standards, man. And this goes for everything that we've been talking about all day today, man. Yeah. When it comes down to, we looking at politics, finances, man. We looking at how we can come together as a community. We got to just for me, it's all about standards. That's what we're talking about.
Round of applause for you. Yeah.
What I want to say is that, like Michelangelo is saying, it's a journey for everyone. And how I look at it is it's becoming a complete picture for T.I. and Jeezy. And I appreciate that. Right. And while we're on the subject of You Can't Break My Soul,
that's right.
Beyonce's album is filled with so much love and Black love and being comfortable in your skin. And it's so encouraging and confident. I listen to it every morning and I get something out of it. And I go and I do what I gotta do.
You won't break my soul. Big shout to Mish promoting that Beyonce album that's in stores right now. They have it downloaded.
Yeah. Go get Beyonce. Go get her.
Well, I want to round this out by saying I think we touched on politics and the racist climate in politics. And I want y'all to understand something. It's not just racism that's on the table. It's classism. It's the haves and the have-nots. Do you hear me? The haves and the have-nots. And I think that you should be very aware of your local government, your state government, and obviously the national government as it adheres to things you need in your community, things you want in your community. And, think about humanity, not party. Think about humanity, not party. When it comes to music, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the only thing we do. Music is not the only thing we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want our young youth to know that music is an option. And 9 times out of 10, musicians end up doing something else that brings them the real money. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of nuances in that, and I suggest you educate yourself on that. Sexuality, ladies and gentlemen, our babies are under attack. I used to say that my kids were desensitized from all the titties and ass everywhere. I have sons. I don't see a bunch of penises on the internet.
Yeah, I would have been going crazy if I was living at this time.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things, y'all, that that once were mystique about a human being, male or female, that are just readily available when you wake up at 8 a.m. in the morning. So we have to start policing our children and ourselves a little better. We can't depend on the internet or algorithms to do right by us. We can't depend on the internet or the algorithms to feed our kids proper information. Once our kid clicks one thing, that's the thing they're gonna see for the rest of the day. According to some reporters, the Chinese are sending you PNB Rock's bloody body laying on the ground, or sending you the girl twerk contest, or Boosie's whatever he just did. The boy done had a goddamn orgy something. They want to show you that first. And to each his own. I ain't knocking nobody. OnlyFans, all the people using sex to get what they want. There's some things that come with that, and maybe you built for it. But I'm telling the people that aren't built for it, that you have to program your mind to not be a follower and be a leader.
Exactly.
To use this social media platform or these social media platforms for your benefit, for your betterment. Okay? And with that said, they will not break our souls. We are a extraordinary people. I want to say extraterrestrial. You know, do you have that clip I had from the girl? I want to close out the show by giving y'all this clip, and it's so true. And I hope that you take these words with you wherever you go today.
James Baldwin said it. He was black. He was gay. He loved it. He said he could hit the jackpot with all that. And he was living out loud. And yet we're the first people to talk about, oh, we can't do this and they won't let us. They won't let us do what? We're the future. We're the aliens that they brought from across the ocean to rock their world and make their planets twirl. So risk is what it's like. Do you? But you gotta first know who you are. And so risk and authenticity, you have to seek it, but you first have to find out what lies you've been told.
What lies you've been told. Round of applause for that. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank episode 3's guests. Misha Pemberton, I love you, baby girl. Michael Angelo, my brother from another mother. Dominique Nashe, we all we need. So go forth, be great. Episode 4 is on the way. You wanna know why? Because the dream is real. I love y'all in real life. See you soon. Peace. The dream is real.